A hospice doctor reveals what most people say before they die. Interesting. You might have had experience with hospice. Your mom, your dad, something like that. Let's see if they said the same thing as what this woman says. So let's check it out. So this is from MSN and Dateline just a couple of days ago. But anyway, yeah, forget the UN Human Rights Commission. Screw those guys, man. Ban the UN. If I was president, I'd say get the hell out of America. Ban UNICEF, ban the UN. Get on out, baby, because you are a clown show. Let's see. We got this lady right here. An exclusive interview with Health Digest leading palliative care and hospice specialist Dr. Simran Malhotra shares firsthand how her patients have influenced the way she leads her own life. Right? If we allow it, death can be our greatest teacher, she says, as a way of putting things into perspective. I hope that by sharing some of my most common regrets of my patients, it will inspire you to live with no regrets. Common regrets in the end. Kind of a weird picture there, because a young person. When it comes to regrets, she says her patients have asked patients what holds personal meaning in their lives. And 2 questions I ask all my patients of what brings you joy and what is most important to you. I have found that people have different stories, but the regrets are mostly the same. Many patients' responses reveal common threads that center around love and interpersonal connection. One of 3 common regrets most frequently voiced by patients was not spending more time with loved ones. What? No, man. Not spending more time with loved ones. Another common regret was having spent too much time at work rather than dedicating time to themselves or their families. Shocking. Lastly, she said she has found that the 3rd most common regret amongst patients was a lack of courage to pursue a life true to their innermost self, their passions and their desires, rather than living for other people's expectations. I don't even think it's living for other people's expectations. I think that's a cop-out. I think it's living in fear that what if I can't make the mortgage payment? What if, and also not the lack of the ability to do without. I've got to have this new release car. I've got to have that. I've got to have this. And by the way, see this phone right here? This is the same phone I've had since I started this YouTube. I mean, literally a year before I started this YouTube channel. It's the exact same phone. Just saying, man. The same exact phone right here. We've got a little bit of, right there. The volume thing is off. I have a hard time getting sometimes the plug to charge it up, but still works. I'm not getting rid of it until it breaks down 100%. You don't need the new things, the shiny toys. I'm telling you. I was talking to a guy today. He and his wife the guy on Friday too. Just don't spend that much, man. Like this guy today is like 68. They've traveled the whole time. They're like, yeah, I've done all the traveling I need to do. He's got a pool in his backyard in Texas. I just want to go swimming and hang out with my wife. Anyway, lessons we can learn from the dying. In hearing about the regrets of our patients, the doctor says there is a lot we can learn from their lived experience. Make time for your loved ones and don't take them for granted. Life is short and you never know when it's going to be your last day with someone. 100%, man. While work and everyday life will undoubtedly pull you in countless directions, regularly checking in with ourselves can help determine if we're distributing our time and energy in a balanced way. Work to live, but don't live to work. You'll never regret taking a break from work to spend time with your family or do something you enjoy, but you may regret working too much. I completely agree with all that, man. Fear, anxiety, and sadness are among the things most common emotions about death. She sees patients experience hope is the most predominant, she says. Many communicate their fear of the unknown, concerns about their families, anxiety about the potential pain they may experience, and sadness about leaving the world and their loved ones, but there are many who feel a sense of peace. That was my understanding too. I've talked to a lot of people, and I think a lot of them, when they see their parents die, most have a sense of peace. Like, there it is. And I don't know what's on this. I mean, I have a suspicion as God and Jesus up the pearly gates saying, "Welcome, well done, my good and faithful servant." I don't know I can't prove that, and I don't know. I'm willing to find out because there's nothing I can do about it. Point being is, man, so I'm working on some BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics stuff for my next book. And I can't decide if I want to be on reverse RMD or how your retirement plan is wrong. I'm not going to say how it's wrong, how most retirement plans are wrong. And one of the issues is that the idea of adjusting your expenditures with inflation, it really is ticking me off now. because inflation, the biggest component of inflation is housing. And here's the BLS right here, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And we know for a fact that if we look at the data, well, it's not going to be a good example. Actually, I think I might have an example up here. Let me show you. This is the BLS from 2010, but it's the same thing. I mean, look, you got right here. I'll show you the data I'm looking at. It goes back to 1992, and I'm going to put all this in a book and probably do videos on it. But if we look at right here, by far and away, the biggest expenditure for everybody is housing, by far and away. So $18,500 for homeowners for housing, $13,000 for renters. This is in 2010. Of that $18,000, $8,200 is for mortgage interest. Look at that, $8,200. And so that's almost half, dudes. That's 40% of your housing costs goes to mortgage interest. Now the others, utilities. Utilities is part of the housing. Maintenance. I mean, all that stuff's not going away. This isn't going away. Water and public service, household operations, household furnishings, and household supplies. But anyway, $10,000 a year is going to your housing costs. But if you don't have a mortgage, guess what's not adjusting for inflation? 40% of your housing costs is not adjusted for inflation, and housing costs represent 33% of your CPI. It's crazy. Here we are in 1986 and 2010. This is adjusted for inflation, so 1986 is not 1986 dollars, is in 2010 dollars. So this is inflation adjustment in 2010 dollars. $56,000 was the annual expenditures, and this is for households, homeowners. And here's for renters. So I'm just looking at homeowners. $56,000 and then $55,000. A little bit less, but not much. But anyway, look, housing, $16,637 in 1986. For 2010 numbers, $18,503. But again, take away $10,000 a year for $8,000 a year for mortgage interest. That you see what I'm saying? It's not. Anyway, but look at transportation, way down, way down. Look at, there's another one that went way down here too. What was it? Transportation. Oh, food. Look at that. Food, $1,000 down. Housing, take out the mortgage, way down. Transportation, way down. Apparel, way down. Yeah, I mean, gasoline is up and up. It's going to be contingent on whatever the price is at the time. But health insurance went up. But health insurance did not go up nearly to the extent that transportation went down. It's crazy. Anyway, the point being is you're living on these. Let me just go over this real quick. Table 2 shows that from 1986, homeowners decreased their expenditures on food by 14%, apparel by 41%, and transportation by 22%. These decreases were offset, but they weren't offset dollar for dollar, not even close, but they're offset by increases in expenditures on housing, healthcare, and entertainment, and personal pensions and insurance. What's personal pensions? Put more money in your 401k. Anyway, so the idea that you have to have this inflation adjustment based on a CPI that is not applicable to you if you're a homeowner because you have your home paid for, it's balderdash. Malarkey. No malarkey. Remember Biden was actually going to run no more malarkey or no malarkey or something. I was like, what? Weirdest people ever are in charge of our world. It's crazy. Anyway, so don't live with regrets, man. You're always going to have regret. Hell, I still have regrets. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, why did I do that? But, just stop with this incessant, I got to work because I got bills to pay and I need more and more and more. Just look in reality of retirement. You can do it, man. I can't tell you, but if you have no debt, I don't know what to tell you. If you have no debt and you're still working, it's like, oh my goodness. All right, love to hear your thoughts. We'll see ya.